Welcome to the Ironman Melbourne course preview. We're having a little bit of a chat here with Luke Bell, Phil Rockner in the chair as well. Luke, you're here for a couple of reasons. A, you're a little bit faster than me. B, you're also a Melbourne local, which means you know this area. So you take a look at the swim at the moment. It's a very open part of the world.
Yeah, we can see although Melbourne's on a bay, it is quite open. So there's definitely some shallow sections there. You can see a little bit of rolling chop, but definitely no surf to contend with and no big waves. And at that time of the morning, it definitely should be quite a pleasant swim and one that is fantastic for athletes and fantastic for spectators as you look at the jetty right there.
It certainly is a good place to hold an Ironman. We're on the bike course now, and I'm going to put a precursor in here, Luke. We are not driving this speed. We've sped the film up so we get everybody to have a good look. This is coming out of Frankston. This is the very first part of the bike. It's where athletes will just be getting their gear together and getting themselves together.
Yeah, hopefully we won't be. Hopefully some will be going this quick come race day, and hopefully there'll be a little less traffic. The roads will be closed, so as we see, we're on the Eastlink part of the course, and the road surface is absolutely spectacular, smooth. But the one thing that I think everyone's got a little misconception of is how flat the bike course is. And as you know from driving along it, and I think most of the locals around, it is a very open section of road, as we can see. And if there's any sort of a breeze, that crosswind will pick up. But it is more the gradual hills or rolling hills, false flats that you will need to contend with throughout the bike course.
It's kind of draggy, isn't it? It's a little bit deceptive, as you said. When you do roll through, yes, there's going to be some wind, and we filmed this. This is filmed around about the middle of the morning, so it'll give you some idea. I mean, obviously wind conditions and weather conditions, but it is open, isn't it? I mean, take a look off to the left there. There's some industrial parks, etc., but there's not a lot of protection for you, both from the sun and elements and from whatever's blowing. No,
you're absolutely correct. You can see that there's very little tree coverage to protect you, and if it's a magnificent day during the end of March then there'll be no cloud cover and nothing to protect you from the elements out there.
Some pretty bridges though.
There are some magical. Melbourne is renowned for its artwork. We've got the big cheese stick, and we've got some nice green bridges and some cellophane walling along here, but you can see these gradual uphills. They're not just that couple of 100 metres or a few hundred yards for the internationals. It's more like, the kilometre to a mile long uphill grinds. You'll still probably be able to keep it in the big dog or the big ring and push up them. But, over the day, it's definitely going to take its toll.
This is the interesting part. This is the tunnel. And
the wormhole as we enter.
Yeah, exactly. And you fly down here. I mean, it really is steep. So you've got to be careful coming through here for two reasons. Obviously the gradient, but also the change in light. You can see how it's all of a sudden lit, and you can see how quick you accelerate through here. It's a big climb, a big descent.
And if we look at the cars going up on the ascent now out of the tunnel, I think there's stages where the grade does or has been mentioned to hit about 13%. And again, as you talked about, here's that changeover from dark to light, which you'll need to be careful of also.
Yeah, and it's a big climb out of there. So really make sure that you've got yourself ready for this one, because it is going to play a huge part in both the pro race and in the age group. Is going to find this. It's a long drag, isn't it, to come up to this turnaround?
Yeah, it is, and it's still going, as we can see, and the footage is sped up quite a bit to get through the entire bike course. And as you can see, we've exited the tunnel and we're still going uphill, and this is an extremely long hill. And come the second loop of the bike course, that's definitely going to take its toll.
And now you get the slingshot effect, because what comes up must come down. And this is where you're going to have to make some time if you've had a bit of an average ascent. But you can make some time up with a bit of speed, and obviously you can charge the hill again and get through the tunnel.
I think so. It's going to be one of those courses where you're going to have to be very aware of your pacing, and make sure that maybe that first lap you don't get too carried away with the smooth roads, the long downhills, and go through in quite a quick halfway split, because come that second lap, this is going to be in the last 20 to 30 miles sort of thing, where you make that turn and head back to transition, and you've still got quite a lot of pinches to encounter come that return trip to Frankston.
And you can see the climb coming out now. It's quite prominent. What wheel set are you looking at for this one?
I think it's still a quick course and there's no massive hills, so I think my feel would be to run a disc wheel on the back if you are quite comfortable with that, and maybe an 808 front. You will probably encounter a couple of crosswinds, so depending on your bike handling skills, but I'd say either a disc 808 or just an 808 combination, front and rear.
Right, this is the run now. We've come out of T2. We're looking spectacular. This has got to be a very flat part of the course, Luke Bell. It's not something that will excite the pure runners who like to get a little bit of elevation.
No, it's definitely, it's as we've all mentioned, it's the old Melbourne Marathon run course, and the first part is, as we can see, quite flat, long stretches, and you'll be able to see, not 1 or 2 minutes in front of you, but you'll be able to see maybe 5 to 10 minutes down the road, and dots of other athletes, or if you're leading the way, you'll be able to see nothing in front of you.
Live sites are going to be at Mordialloc, and they're going to be at Seaford, where we're going through now, and they're going to be one up at Brighton as well. Live sites means basically big tower, big music, big fun, lots of things to see. So as you're running along,
dance party.
That's right. You can stop. You can stop and shake whatever moves you and take a bit of a look. But it's going to be at least something to break your run up. Every 10 kilometres there'll be one of those. As you can see, still though, heading up to Mordialloc, it's still pretty flat and very open. Not a lot of shade.
No, and I think most of the local people around Melbourne know this road extremely well, as this is the main cycling route for everyone on Saturday and Sundays. And as we see heading through Seaford here, it is, it's still quite flat. You're running via a residential area here. The water is actually only probably about 500 metres from you at any stage of the race maximum. But
to your left, yep.
To your left, and so there will be chances of breezes and cool wind to cool you down if it was a hot day.
So here we are on the course. We've just made the left-hand turn, the quick transition over to what we think is going to be one of the crux points of the run. And we're talking about Ricketts Point. As we come through here, we've gone through Parkdale, gone through Mentone. We're around about halfway or into the run at the moment, and 22, 23 kilometres. And we are running through this section, Luke, that's going to be...
Excuse us.
That's going to be very, very tough to get through on the day. This is going to be one of the crucial points.
I think so. You talk about, as you mentioned, the crucial point. It's coming at around that 23 to 25 kilometre mark, and that's where you start to wonder those numerous thoughts going through your head of how the body's feeling, how it's going to cope, and how it's going to get to the finish. But although there's no major hills on the course, there are these little sharp pinches that they take a bit of the sting out of your legs and make you have to work that a little bit extra. And as we see here, rolling back down into Ricketts, and on the way out, there is another little pinch that I think everyone knows. And, it's not a massive hill, it's not a long hill, but it's definitely long enough to make you slow the pace down and get back to a little bit of a shuffle.
That's right, and as you leave Frankston, you do a little bit of a kilometre loop, and then you head up out onto the course as we've shown you. And this is around about that 23, 24, maybe a bit more kilometre section of the course, and it just over halfway. And you can see there, this is the first part of the pinch that heads up, and it does make its way up. And pros, listen up, this is a nice place to attack and maybe see maybe a bit of a surge, Luke Bell, and just see how the opposition's feeling. Age groupers, this might be a place to just dose your effort.
Yeah, I think so. It's, every weekend you get out there with the boys, and this seems to be the place where everyone will turn the screws or pick up the pace. And the short little pinch to start with, then as we're going up here, this is that nice little gradual, not really a false flat, it's really sort of a gradual climb up to heading over and the downhill roll into the Black Rock there. That's
right, and this part of the course is, again, really open. It's really exposed. You've got the ocean there on your left-hand side. You're going to have some breeze somewhere. Melbourne is known for its wind, so there's going to be some sort of breeze. If it's a northerly breeze, it's going to be blowing right in your face. If it's a southerly, you're going to have it behind you. So they're the things to think about when you are preparing for this. But it's, again, not a flat course, flat for the start, but then it starts to roll around a little bit.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's all relative. I think everyone seems to think it's flat, but again, you mentioned there is enough rolling hills in there to make it quite challenging, and depending on which way the breeze is going, it could be a blistering fast run, or it could be a slog all the way to the finish. But as you mentioned, this is one of the most beautiful parts of the course. You get glimpses of you're right on the water. You can see there off to the left, and that's the way the run is for the majority of the run. It is quite a spectacular beautiful course to run on, especially the second half.
And you'll get plenty of things to do as well. We've talked a little bit about the live sites. You've also got something to at least to look at in terms of ocean and view to take your mind off what's going on, maybe if that's the way you roll. But it really is a great course. And the Old Melbourne Marathon course for years was a real test. And this section especially is just the start, a little bit of an hors d'oeuvre of what's to come, because there are a couple of little pinches as well that will test you as you make your way up into the finish line, which is in St Kilda. And as you get closer to the city, it'll become a little bit more crowded, a few more spectators. And if you are looking to spectate this one as well, you want people to be out on the course. It's a really easy and accessible course for your friends and your family to park out and take a look. Lots of shops, lots of places to buy things as well, because it's a long day for your spectator as well. Yeah,
absolutely, and I think that's the nice part. You know, we start off in Frankston. You'll head through Mordialloc, and then you've got the iconic Black Rock Clock Tower here, and off to the right, you know, you might give a wave to Kathy Watt at her local business there. Hey, Kath, and head on to the finish. But for spectators, it's fabulous. We roll through. You know, you can mention Sandringham, Hampton, Brighton. You know, the Brighton beach boxes there, and as you mentioned, finishing at St Kilda. It's definitely spectator friendly, that's for sure. And I guess one of the other nice things, or maybe the daunting things of the run course, is you can actually see the finish from the start of the marathon. You get to see exactly where you've got to end up come day's end. And
this is one of the other little pinches that is coming out of Black Rock, and again, it's coming up through to Sandringham. And it's not tough. It's not going to make you turn inward, but it is going to really give your legs a little bit of a test, especially, again, after you've gone through that tunnel on the bike a couple of times as well.
Yeah, I think so. And these are those sorts of hills where you just might want to dial it back, you know, that 20 seconds a kilometre pace. Not push yourself too hard, because although they are these gradual uphills, if you're able to get over the top and use the downhills, which are equally as long, you can let the legs go and roll the body and keep the heart rate down and pick up the pace quite nicely.
This is the tail end of what they call Siberia, up near South Road. It's getting to about 10 k's to go. You can stop and have an ice cream, we've worked out, provided you...
good old Mr. Whippy. He's always there.
You can, if you enter the course where you left it, I think you can go and get an ice cream. But don't quote me on that. Again, nice and open, no shade whatsoever. So really think about your choice of headwear and your hydration, etc. Because if you do get a hot one in Melbourne, it's going to cook you. But again, really open, isn't it? And the wind and the conditions, the weather conditions will be, something to really consider.
Yeah, I think so. And, the other thing that comes to mind too is, that the second half of the marathon is on the bike path, as we can see. These are a concrete or a cement bike path, and, it's just that little bit harsher on the legs and the muscles. So in training, maybe get out there and, as a lot of people say, harden the legs up a bit so you're used to running on an extremely hard surface on the marathon.
Mirror building there to the right, where Luke Bell will be stopping to check himself out as he goes past.
That is another iconic place that once everyone goes by, everyone looks to the right and checks out their form for sure.
Opta Mirror lives and loves. That was Greenpoint in Brighton. That's where the last live site will be, and you'll get some great music and some great encouragement from the guys on the towers.
Yeah, and I think as you head past Brighton Bars, I think it'll be another area where there's got a bit of atmosphere and stuff set up, and here we are rolling into the finish.
And we're going quick again, and
that's because we're excited because we're near the finish.
Keep in mind this will be fenced off, and we did this again on a beautiful summer's day. You're never going to get it quiet. So you'll see a lot of people here. But to give you some idea about, left is the beach, obviously. Right is the big St Kilda precinct where all the excitement will be happening. You come zooming through here.
You can see Luna Park off to the right, and this is the fantastic St Kilda Broadwalk here. And, these are the other athletes you'll have to be overtaking coming down the finish chute. But you can see the finish St Kilda Pier in the distance and the St Kilda Sea Bars.
Luke, thanks for taking the journey with us. This is the Ironman Melbourne course preview. We want to wish everyone in the race having a great day, and we look forward to having Mike Riley call you an Ironman when you hit the tape.